morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Smorgasbord. I'm Tom Vassell.
Why are you looking at him?
Oh, you confused me.
I felt it. I'm Z Garcia. Hi.
I'm Joey Evans.
All right. Well, hey, I'm supposed to tell you that there is as of a couple hours ago, there was only 29 tickets left for Dice Tower.
Really?
Yes. Yesterday there was 50.
All right. Will it be done by end of day today?
Today or tomorrow.
If you're buying, you should never assume that. It will be
I'm voting
done
today.
now.
It'll be gone today.
Get your tickets.
They're gonna go soon.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of going and you're still waffling, you gotta make a call here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check that out. And also the cruise is still selling tickets, so if you want to come on the cruise. If you like to, I'm going to say a bunch of things here. If you'd like to keep up with all this stuff and know what's going on, you should subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. Every other week we send out an email just kind of letting you know what's coming up in the future. When is the next Summer Spectacular? When is this? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We can send that out. And then also, if you like the reviews on this channel, we have another channel reviews too called Dice Tower Encore. That's where we chop up the roundups, and they're just real quick, short reviews.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're short. They're usually short.
They're usually pretty under 5 minutes.
Yeah. So there you go. And one goes up every day.
Yep.
So that's Dice Tower Encore. With its 10,000 subscribers, you could be 11.
11,000.
I don't know how I made someone become a 1,000 thing. But anyway.
Big house.
Welcome to Board Game Smorgasbord. I missed some interesting news last week.
You did.
I'm super glad about the one piece of news, though, from last week, which was that Gamma Trade Show dates are moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was big.
Not because I care that strongly about when their dates are, but that doesn't cross Dice Tower. Yay.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes.
No.
So if you're a publisher and you were planning to come to Dice Tower West, now you can.
Yep.
You still could have anyway, but now
You should have anyway.
Now you have no excuse.
You'll find one.
You're not being helpful right now.
They won't find one. This is the only excuse they have.
All right, let's jump into the news. There's a lot of news this week, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So let's get started. First,
I'm excited.
it's our acquisition section.
Okay, here we go. Who bought who?
Hasbro
Yeah.
is going to be exclusively distributing Rummikub.
Didn't they already do that?
I don't think so. Quick question for you, because I think you need an answer. What country is Rummikub from?
I'm going to go Russia.
No.
Japan.
It's a country that's not necessarily known for board games, but a country that you have talked about a lot in your life, maybe more than any other country.
It's Australia?
No, so Israel.
Israel.
Good job.
That was my next one.
I'll be speaking to your pastor. Anyhow, Australia.
It was on my mind.
That's what you're talking about this morning. So.
I was.
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, Rummikub, very, very popular game. I just played it for the first time a couple of years ago. Have you ever played it?
No, it's not Rummy, right?
No, it's
it not?
Rummy-esque, but no, it's not
Okay, I
Rummy.
played Rummy. I've not played Rummy.
It's actually a very, very thinky game. Like, never play it with someone with analysis paralysis.
Really?
Because there's a bunch of tiles and you are building sets, but then you can be like, or actually, and you can move them back and everything.
It's a little bit like Mahjong that way, where you can make different sets and break them and remake them, and yeah.
Anyhow, so Rummikub, they're happy. Hasbro says they're happy, and there you go.
Everybody's happy, except Joey, who's never played it.
I'm excited.
But Joey has played Popped, the reading game, starring Balloon Dog.
That's fantastic.
What is this?
That is the quintessential balloon dog, too.
What?
Please tell me you can make a balloon dog.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you make a sword?
Oh, yeah.
But how about a snake? This is a tricky one.
Yeah. Balloon dog and sword, you are now a balloon entertainer. Those are the only two things. Kids will be happy. It's crazy.
Really?
And it's always that dog. That quintessential statue dog.
Well, anyway, this is a board game collaboration with world-renowned artist Jeff Koons, starring his iconic balloon dog. Now, my only concern with this is, isn't the balloon dog how is this his?
He copyrighted it.
That's the thing that entertainers got into, because he did make that statue, and it was very
you
big.
know about this?
Well, I know about the balloon. Yeah, it's entertainers.
You're right, because is this the statue you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's blue. I thought it was blue.
Well, this one's purple, and
they got different
he has
colors.
different colors.
Okay, all right.
He really. Okay, I'm going to look up Jeff Koons.
Okay.
He's an American artist known for his work dealing with popular cultures and his sculptures depicting everyday objects, including balloon animals produced in stainless steel with mirror-finished surfaces.
The lawsuits have been crazy. Like the bookends, people are like, well, you can't make that. That's his. People are like, it's based on an animal, number one. Number two, it's a balloon. So, yeah, it's been...
I do wonder how he made that. How do you
Right.
get a big surface like that to look like a balloon?
He's also done
Yes,
Hulk
it's very
Elvis.
metallic.
Hulk Elvis? How are you not Googling that one
How
right
is that
now?
not a game?
That's way more
Koons.
interesting to me.
Hulk Elvis
Hulk Elvis images. He does look like Hulk, doesn't he?
Where's the Elvis?
This is crap.
I agree. I'm not very impressed with
Go back
it.
to Donkosaurus.
Anyway, so back to the board game part of news. So now this is going to help kids learn about risk and reward while teaching essential reading skills.
Different direction on that one.
Scientists say 95% of children can read by 3rd grade. Yet in the U.S., only 30% do. I wonder what they mean by reading.
Yeah, that's like, I think that's low. Do you think? By 3rd grade? Are we talking about like reading like War and Peace? Or are we talking about like reading the menu?
I can't read War and Peace now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was a bad point.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Talking about.
Anyway, this will help reading. I don't know how balloon animal will help reading, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Who's the publisher on this? I can't see.
Clever Noodle?
Is that what it says?
It says right, I don't know.
That might be his company, to be fair. Clever Noodle might be Jeff Koons' company. I don't know.
It could be.
If I had a company, it might be
The game is
Clever.
called Popped.
Popped.
Wait, are you supposed to pop the balloon animal?
Never.
But
This game is not on Board Game Geek. In fact, the only game on Board Game Geek is How Silas Popped the Question, a game which I talked about. This is from 1915, and it's like a silly, almost Mad Lib style game about how a guy asks someone to marry him.
That cover is fantastic.
Why are we not playing that game?
I want to know. We have got so off kilter with this game. Let's move to the next piece of
Yes.
In
news.
the library.
The Rest of Row. So this is a weird. I mean, this is an expansion for a
Rest of
game
Row
called.
E.
Oh, Row E. Sorry, you're right. Row E. This is an expansion for Chrononauts. So Chrononauts is a game. If you've never played it, it has a whole grid of cards out there of dates. And what you're doing is you're trying to win by getting a kind of combination happen. If you've ever played their other game.
Timeline? No.
No, what's their most famous game? Flux.
Flux, yeah.
Oh.
It's similar to Flux in that if this and this are done, you win. You get these cards that say you win if things happen. But you can flip dates and have things happen. Like, for example, assassination of Abraham Lincoln. But you can flip it and say it didn't happen, and that might flip some other cards.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a timeline thing.
Is it
Yeah.
educational or
No.
is it no? Okay. It's
I don't
little.
think so.
I mean, you learn the dates.
is it as never ending
guess.
as Flux?
It can be. That's the thing. So
Okay.
I love the idea, but at the same time, it's sort of that. Anyway, they added new stuff, right? Although this one requires Chrononauts and the Gore years, so yeah, you need the other expansion. But anyway, this is coming out,
Gore.
a 10-card expansion. Jim Henson's Labyrinth, the board game 40th anniversary collection, is coming out this summer. It's going to be a game found thing. This is from River Horse of Mantic, so I'm not as excited about it, but
That's pretty cool, man. Everything old is new again. That nostalgia is strong.
this,
Yeah,
especially for
that's-
this movie. This movie is
Wow.
like a cult classic for
See,
people.
I still have not
Absolutely.
seen this movie. All I know is there's puppets and David Bowie.
I want to know when the
You've seen the
never-ending
movie.
I've
story
never seen the
of
movie.
board game
No.
is coming out.
You're done.
Oh, that's it.
Right?
What?
When is the never-ending story of the board game coming
Right?
out?
Yeah, Save the Horse. That's what I want to play.
Yeah.
It's a cooperative game. All you got to do is keep your horse from getting sad. And
Have
there's
you
a
seen
little
that
sand
movie?
pit.
Oh, yes, that's a horrible
Yeah, that
movie.
scene is like a gut
That's-
punch, especially
yeah.
as a kid.
Because you're not expecting it either.
My goodness, they drag it out, too.
That's why we're so emotional as adults, because of that.
I think so.
I will say, though, that him riding on the
That big furry
dog
dragon thing.
dragon at the end and getting the bullies, you're like, yeah,
So
in your
good.
face, bullies.
Yeah.
Those laser statues? That was a scary movie for kids, man. Mm-hmm. Okay, anyhow.
That wolf thing, like the spooky,
Yes.
that's terrifying. That movie's, yeah. They don't make them like that anymore.
No,
Not
like
for
they
kids,
used
they
to.
don't.
All right, Munchkin. We talked yesterday about the Munchkin big box. It didn't have this in it though. Shadowrun Munchkin.
That's
Really?
pretty cool. Munchkin Shadowrun.
That's awesome.
And this is
This is a
the
Shadowrun
actual
IP?
like Shadowrun with its logo, like obviously licensed.
This is coming out September of this year. It will be a standalone game, and it's $40. So
These always intrigue me. Are they looking for a cross section of Shadowrun gamers and Munchkin gamers, or do they just know Munchkin gamers are going to buy it? Because they do
I think
these.
both.
They do a lot of these. It's very interesting to see what they grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
All right. So this one is interesting. This is a new game from Button Shy, which is available now. The
Oh.
Walking Dead Surrounded.
I'm there.
And I asked Mike when we were talking about this if this was their first IP for Button Shy, but he said they did the X-Files. He said they did an X-Files version of Circle the Wagons.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would play that.
Okay. I don't know.
I would play it this week.
I'm like, anyhow, this here is 1 to 4 players. There's zombie apocalypse. It's a co-op game, and you are going to extract as many resources from each area. But on the flip side, there's survivors and leaders, but also possibly zombies.
And there's 19 cards.
Interesting. I don't know. I haven't heard of this one at all.
18.
I know.
Goodness.
They're getting
But it
bigger.
does have an expansion called Under Siege. So, yeah, $12. Pretty cheap.
Joey knows about Under Siege.
I do. That one I've seen.
Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
No, that's sad, but no. You
I've seen that one. I've seen both. Second one's on a train.
Is he in both of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm back in.
Actually, his teenage daughter is that. She grew up to be a pretty famous actress. I forget her name now.
James Earl Jones.
No, her. Anyway, the second one cracks me though because he's like on a straight train. So I've been on a battleship. There's lots of different places to go and hide. A
Right.
train is a train.
Do they ever make it on top and run?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good.
And below and run.
Our next piece of news here is Super Kawaii Pets. This is coming from Arcane Wonders. Kawaii, is that how you pronounce
Yes,
it? Like
sir.
Hawaii? Man,
Kawaii!
I am so not interested in this theme here at all.
Pretty
This is coming out from Arcane Wonders, right? So it's a cutesy little set collection game.
Yep. It's coming in English, so this is from originally Studio Supernova. And it will be at Origins, which is like in a few weeks.
That's a cute look. You don't like the look of that?
It's okay. I'm just saying it doesn't really attract me.
Is that a monkey top right?
No, that's a cute cat dog.
Rabbit.
That's a
Maybe it's
cat.
a rabbit. It's
Why
a rabbit.
Are you, Where are you
okay.
getting monkey from?
That right there.
Top
That's-
right, that one, not the cat.
Oh, I thought you meant on the box. That's
no,
a
that's
rabbit.
a rabbit. Yeah. That's some sort of floppy
It's a rabbit who went and got a perm. All right.
Perm rabbit.
White Castle has an expansion coming.
Yes.
Devere. This is called White Castle Matcha. So there's now a tea ceremony involved. So I'm curious how this is one of those games that I didn't think needed an expansion. It feels like a complete whole game, but who knows?
This game was great.
You liked it,
I
Lane?
was surprised.
I haven't played this yet.
I played it 3 times on the cruise. I mean, yeah, so it's really good. I like dice.
I'm very excited about this next piece of news. Ticket to Ride has a new map collection coming
Let's
out.
go.
South Korea and Iberia.
Hey,
I am very pleased about this.
Yes.
So the Iberia Peninsula, you're going to draft destination cards and keep 4 of them, and you're going to do that before the train deck runs out the first time. So you're going to have those 8 destination cards with only 35, but you're picking up festival cards on the way. And in South Korea, you will also be drafting destination cards, but keeping 4 out of 6. So this is a big change from the original games because you only have to keep 2 or 3 depending on the game normally. However, in Korea, when you claim a route, you can place one of your trains in the province mat on an empty space of the matching color, showing the number of cards you played, and you can play more cards than you need to get cards on this extra mat to get points.
Okay.
Also, you have express train cards, +1, +2, +3, which let you draw more cards, more tickets, or claim a higher number on that mat.
I like that this one has a secondary little board on the side, but it doesn't sound too complicated, and I like that. I like it when the Ticket to Ride games, the twist isn't so twisty that it feels
Right.
like a whole different game.
I'm also glad they're back to 2 maps.
Yeah, well,
They did a few with just one.
The last few have been doubled, right? Haven't they been?
I think Japan was a single map.
I don't recall.
And Poland was a single map.
Poland was like a one-off weird one, yeah.
Well, anyway, I like that there's 2 maps. That gives you a lot of content.
Absolutely.
In the box.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like that.
Very nice.
All right. This next one has a cool cover, Tales of Myth and Legend.
And it's Van Ryder.
Ooh.
This is Van Ryder, and this is coming to, I believe, GameFound. So unfortunately, this. I actually hate talking about this almost because it's going to be crowdfunded, either GameFound or Kickstarter, or whatever it is, in Q4 of this year, which means you ain't going to see this for a while.
Wow.
But this is a paragraph book like Tales of Arabian Nights, but set in ancient Greece, which means you're already in.
Oh, I'm so in with this. And that's like, what were those old claymation movies that had like that big
Jason
cycle?
and the Argonauts kind of
this
thing?
is-
Or
yeah.
what's the one they remade? I really like that movie, though. The original one was claymation,
I forgot.
with Perseus and trying to get the Kraken.
Yeah.
What was that?
I forgot what it's called.
Anyway,
Oh,
somebody
you
will
mean-
tell me.
Battle of the Gods.
Oh,
no.
Clash of the Titans?
Clash of the
or
Titans.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Clash of the Titans.
Right.
This is just...
It also looks very much to me, that cover, because it's the same illustrator and a similar cover, it looks like Cyclades. You know that cover?
Oh, it does.
Because it's Miguel Coimbra is the same illustrator as did Cyclades, and the image on the cover kind of looks like the original cover of
It
Cyclades.
does. I hope it plays totally
So
different.
it's like, ooh, it's like almost like an unofficial Cyclades game kind of vibe, you know?
Yeah,
So you can see at the top there, Michael Gugliano, Keith Ward, and Bobby West are the designers.
Cool.
Ward has writing credit, but also Julia Hearn
Okay.
has the writing credit, and she's a developer on the project. So I'm very interested in this one. They said there's thousands of encounters, surprises, blah, blah, blah. My only concern is it's hard to get that excited about it because it's so far away.
Right.
I'm interested for sure. When it comes out, I'm playing it. But
That is
Ray Harryhausen. That's the guy who did the little...
the claymation
claymation
guy,
stuff.
yeah.
And on that same note, we've mentioned this in the past, but Tales of the Arthurian Knights...
Yeah.
This is going to be published in this
Finally.
year, Q4. I know. I asked about this game, I think 15 years ago. They're like,
know.
oh, I remember him telling us about this. I was like, are we going to see more games like Tales of Arabian Nights? They're like, oh, King Arthur. And I was like, oh!
Right?
I was less excited when they demoed this game a couple years ago at Dice Tower Retreat, and it took them 4+ hours to play it.
Here's the thing. We played this at one of the big game bashes was there, and I loved it, but then afterwards, I realized it was over 4 hours. Now, I enjoyed it at the time.
Well, that's interesting that you didn't notice it was 4 hours.
I didn't. Then I'm like, man, that was 4 hours. But we enjoyed the journey. Now, that was a notepad. You're looking through like the notes in a 3-ring binder. I don't know if they've modernized it with either
Probably.
app or whatever.
I doubt it.
I don't know. But
It's a great looking cover. That's a very cool looking cover. But if it is too similar to Arabian Nights, then the difference is just the setting, and I want the game system to be
I
modernized.
think they changed
Right.
the game system a lot, but
how old's the other one? The other one's pretty old, right?
Tales of Arabian Nights is from 2000. It's pretty.
Okay, so it's
it's a
antiquated.
while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, both of these are interesting. Tales of Arthurian Nights will be out sooner. All right, in the 19XX line, which is different than the 18XX line.
Ooh, what's the 19XX line?
These little games
Oh,
from
yeah,
this
yeah.
publishing Looping Games.
That's right.
Yeah, they're like 19 something, and this one's
Yeah, yeah.
1980 Sixtina. This is a 2 to 4 player game, and you are a restorer who's trying to revitalize the Sistine Chapel. So that guy's in there fixing the. I think that's kind of cool.
Just realized that. I was like, at first I thought Michelangelo did not dress like that. I thought he was painting it. And now I'm realizing, okay, he's just restoring it. So I'm like, okay.
It's also 1980.
I didn't know.
Anyway,
It's been a while.
so you have to follow these guidelines from the Vatican to get in there. I'm sure that if you were like doing this, you signed a lot of papers. Yeah. They're like, you will not
Can
mess
you
this up.
imagine?
Execution.
I would not want to touch that thing.
Yeah, I know. Whoops.
Oh.
Anyhow, these companies, these are small boxes. This would be very akin to the
cool.
Tiny Epic series, but for Euro games. Because you open these, there's a lot of game in these boxes.
Are we talking like Tiny Epic, like too much game in these boxes? Or I haven't played any of them?
These are not like they don't feel that crammed in there, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. I'm just
They
saying
have
there's
really
a lot of
cool-
game in the box.
Yes, and they have very cool settings. They've picked really interesting stuff.
All right, more Cartaventura is coming. Now, I really need to get around to playing Cartaventura. I have one at home. I'm about to play at some point. I've been curious about this. Like,
Nice box.
it's like a mini Seventh Continent style game.
What?
Yeah.
Where has it been in my life? At your house.
So these
apparently.
three, no. Chris reviewed it before.
There it is.
Anyway, there's a few coming out there. That one in the bottom, I like that picture of that girl there. It reminds me of that famous painting of the wheat field, and there's a girl sitting in it
Yes.
in front of a house. The Three Musketeers. Those are great. That's great art.
Those are great covers.
They really are.
You've enjoyed these games, Tom?
I haven't played one yet.
Oh, I thought you had.
Chris played it. I'm interested in them. They're cooperative, choose your own adventure style. I think they're
Right,
fairly
with the
light.
tiles, like you said, yeah.
All right, Quinnet has a new game coming out. This was crowdfunded in, this year. Oh, no, it will be crowdfunded this year, sorry. This is called Super Mundi. This is in their Master Print series of games.
Okay.
It's a 1 to 4 player game, and it's about Frederick II, the Holy Roman Emperor. His contemporaries called him Super Mundi, which means the wonder of the world. And many historians consider him Europe's first modern ruler. Anyway, so you're one of his vassals.
I believe it might be what's called a Euro game.
It could be. Time will tell.
See a little bit of the aspect of Euro on there.
All right, Egypt is back. Tamari. This is a game that's also going to be crowdfunded by Placentia Games and Postscriptum. And you are going to be, it says 1 to 4 players taking an imaginary trip to ancient Egypt.
What?
Why did they have to say the word imaginary? Just as a heads
Ooh,
up.
is this kind of like an Assassin's Creed type thing?
I don't think so.
backing.
No, it says you're going to get crops and farm and do all this stuff. Heads up, every board game is an imaginary trip to whatever you're doing.
Just so you know, we don't want to get sued. You won't actually be going there. Like, listen, our lawyers have told us.
It depends how strong your imagination is,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's... Wow.
All right, well, I like that cover again.
It is
I
cool.
love that cover.
Speaking of cool
cover,
covers, look at this next one from Cranio. This game is called Mesos. It's a card drafting game.
I like that
and
board,
this is
too.
based on the Mesolithic period.
Let's go. I love prehistory stuff.
Me too.
So-
Shut up,
yeah.
Joey. You get Cartaventura.
You're a leader of an ancient tribe, and you
Yes.
got to add new members,
Yes.
keep them alive, build buildings, have different events that are going on. It kind of, the vibe I'm getting from this and the way that looks is that co-op game you like a lot. That's also prehistory.
Paleo?
Paleo, it just looks kind of like the layout of Paleo. That's a cool cover, though.
That is a
Yeah, it's
great
really
looking little board, a whole bunch of cool looking cards. Oh, that's my jam right there.
And I like Cranio.
Yeah, this is coming.
Mystery
Cranial,
House
like
and all
the
that?
public, yeah.
This is
Actually, Cranial
really
to me-
Mystery Houses.
I love Mystery House. I
Yeah,
know you-
Cranio, I worry sometimes, but this is very small, so hopefully there won't be sort of
like
quality control issues there.
second half of 2024.
I'm there.
Also from Cranio, we got Golden Cup. This is one of the designers. This one is Luciana. Actually, he's one of the designers of the last one, that puts me back in. But anyway,
Okay.
Simone Luciano and Gabriel Bubola. This is a new sport of some sorts. Everyone's coming in. You're going to be a bunch of coaches trying to grab the best talent. So in 6 rounds, you're going to be playing against each other. It almost sounds like the Blood Bowl team manager game.
Yeah.
Oh, it
With
does.
a made up sport,
Yeah. Blood Bowl Team Manager is an underrated game, by the way.
I
Have you
didn't
ever
play
played
that.
it?
Played
Yeah,
Blood
it's
Bowl,
fun.
not Team
It's
Manager.
not like, basically, it's just drafting characters and getting them, putting a team out and playing.
Oh, I'd probably do that. Blood Bowl just takes too much board space.
And then we continue on with the cool covers on Beyond the Horizon, also coming from Cranio Creations.
Man, Cranio's on
Cranio's-
fire.
I'm telling you.
This is a 4-designer
Don't get
game,
on my
though. Dennis
bandwagon.
Chan, Adam Hill, Ben Pinchback, and Matt Riddle.
Okay,
It's
good.
a Civ game, and you're playing over a certain number of rounds by exploring new lands, settling and building new cities. Unfortunately, the description of it sounds generic Civ description, so I'd like to see more.
Yeah, we don't know yet, huh? Okay.
Is
All
this
right.
It's
an imaginary
October.
trip or a real
some
one?
is October, so I'm assuming it's Essen release.
Oh,
Very
that
nice.
sucks.
All right, the Side Quest series of games, which is kind of like an escape room game, is now doing a Frostpunk one.
Nice.
I did not like.
You played one of these, yeah?
I did not like it at all, actually.
Frostpunk or Side Quest?
I played, Side Quest. I played the one that was based on
7C or
7C. Yes, even though you were not on the sea at all in the game.
It's in that city. You're in a city.
Yeah.
It's the new game space, just in a city. I'm excited for this one, and
So what is this? This breaks down the bigger
like a
game into
little-
smaller thing?
Nope.
well, this
It's just
is
an escape room game.
yeah.
Oh.
But they're putting a theme on it. It's kind of like when they did Unlock Ticket to Ride or something.
You might like it because the way the game starts, or at least the one I played, you put up walls, like these cards that were walls, and then you're looking at it and saying, "Ooh, here's a door. That says card number 32. I got 32, and it shows a door, but it's locked. Now I got to go find a key."
That's fun.
It is.
cool.
The biggest reason I didn't like it is because I thought the story part of it was atrociously written. Not like bad, but really bad, I thought.
Replayable? Like,
No, it's one time. I mean,
Is
you
it?
could replay it. I suppose it makes some different decisions, but mostly,
okay.
You know
But,
what
like,
the
you didn't
answer.
destroy
There's
it,
like an
though.
answer.
yeah.
Okay.
I will check this one out just because, I mean, I like the setting, and maybe there'll be some kids eating sawdust.
Yeah. No one likes the setting, but in theory, you don't want to live in the
I'm sure there's some people who are like, "Ooh, this is fun."
This is
All right. Cosmodrome Games, who made Smartphone Inc. and Mobile Markets, is making Factory Inc., a Smartphone Inc. game. So you're running an electronics factory
You
and making
making the
products.
phones now.
Yep. Polyomino's in this game.
Yes, just like Apple does it. Polyominoes.
And look how happy that guy is on that phone.
He's testing it. Can you hear me now?
good.
All right, a sequel to Glass Road is coming out from Uwe Rosenberg called Black Forest. That's another cool
It's a
cover.
good cover, too, yeah.
And it
That's
made
really
me think of
nice.
Black Forest cake, which is delicious. But
What is
anyhow,
Black Forest cake?
so Black Forest cake is chocolate cake,
Yeah.
which you wouldn't like as much,
Right, okay.
with whipped cream instead of icing
Okay.
as the layers, and then tons of cherries and chocolate shavings all throughout.
Okay.
You don't like
really
chocolate as much, but if you
I
like
like
chocolate,
cherries and I like whipped cream, so
you could just eat the icing.
yeah.
I'll give you a spoon.
Yeah, I'll just eat the canopy of the forest.
Anyway, the Black Forest, and this, it's weird though, because they're like, you're making small the name of new buildings and livestock, and I was like, it's called Black Forest, but it's about building buildings, but I guess they're in the Black Forest.
Okay.
But sequel to Glass Road, so I know people are going to be excited about that. That came out in
Interesting.
2013.
Wow.
11 years later.
Bum, bum,
He's
bum.
still doing it, man. He's still making these big games. That is a gorgeous cover. Wow.
All right, Desert War is a new expansion for Dune War for Arrakis. So
Oh, wow.
people
Okay.
aren't content with the several expansions that came with the game, but this game is very popular, and I think will end up being like a cult classic. I don't think everyone's going to play it, but I think the people who play it are going to like it. So is this going to be crowdfunded? Yes. And also you can get the original game if you missed it. So there you go. I wonder if this is one of the reasons that CMON went to GameFound, because they're going to be able to run
They can do it
more and
all
more
again.
projects. Yeah. And
It
you
does
can-
feel like they're
yeah.
able to basically because they did,
re-released.
they're about to or just did Masters of the Universe again.
Yep.
And I guess this one again, they can kind of redo the stuff, which I
Kickstarter
guess
does
they,
not allow that.
yeah,
Makes sense.
it's cool.
It's a win-win for people, too. If you missed it, jump onto that.
Sure.
And then finally, our last piece of news, Arcane Wonders, in conjunction with Dice Tower Essentials,
Have you played this?
is bringing forth Ito, which I've been sitting on my review of this because I didn't want people to get annoyed because you can't get it anywhere. But it's going to be coming out. Do they have the date on here?
What are your thoughts on it? Good?
October. This is one of my favorite party games now. I really enjoy this. Everyone gets a number card secretly from 1 to 100, and then you get a topic. And the topic might be like delicious food. And based on your number, you say it and then put it out, and then you're trying to put them in order from lowest to highest. And
Pretty
so
good.
if you have 1, you might be like trash. But you could probably think of something worse. Trash might be 6. I don't know. And that's the discussions in the game. We played this live once, I think.
I think so. Yeah. Spoiler alert. This is very, very fun.
Oh.
Yeah. Go
Have you played
check.
it?
Go check
No,
out us.
because I was...
You've never played this?
No, because I was in the other room when you guys were playing it.
Oh, you
on
would
the
love.
ship.
This is such a you game, Joe.
I know.
Because it's about that. bit of like the mind trying to figure out where things go, but the discussion on top of that makes it such a fun party game.
It's like the mind with like pinpoint and all that.
It's like the mind without being snooty.
Got it. Okay.
And it will be part of Dice Tower Essentials line. Yes, so that's coming also at the Spiel in October this year. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. All right, folks, that is the news. Let's keep going. All right. Today we're talking about musicals. Our top 3 musicals. And I wasn't very specific on this, like whether it was a movie musical or a stage musical. I did movies, but it's not that big of a deal. There's a lot of crossover.
But really, yeah, let's be
Oh, I
honest.
did stage musicals. I thought that's what you meant.
If a musical's good, they're going to go to the other one.
Well, sometimes
They start as movies.
Well,
and
one
go
of
to-
mine was never a stage and is only a movie. Actually, 2 of mine were never a stage and only a movie. In fact, all 3 of mine were movies.
Okay.
I think all 3 of mine are movies, but some have musicals.
Who cares? It doesn't matter.
Mine have. Well, you'll see.
How many of yours were you in?
One?
Okay. I don't know. I only know one musical that Z's ever been in. So,
What have I been
I do
in
know
that
one
I
that you've
told
been
you
in.
about?
oh, let's see if it's in the list first.
Okay.
All right, you're first.
My number 3. What is my number 3? My number 3 is Cabaret. What musical have I told you I'm in? This is the only one I've been in. So
Oh, Hair.
Hair. I've been
I knew
in
you were in
Hair. Yes. Yeah, Cabaret is my number 3. It is of the classic musicals, and by that I mean not like the Broomsticks era, like that stuff, or like the River era, like really really old, like 1930s and 20s. I'm talking about like the 60s era. This is one of the few ones I like. Or a little. This is a little later than that, I guess. But because I don't tend to enjoy. I'm not a big musical guy actually at all. But this is one I like. I think the music is vibrant and fun. And then at some point in the show, like you realize that not everything is as it seems. This is a show that you think is about the cabaret whiz-bang life and all bright lights, big city, fun, very adult content in it, but then it's like, oh, and Nazis are in the show. And you're like, oh, that's what the show's actually about. Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen this one.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I like it a lot. And it's one that I can both enjoy the music and enjoy the musical, like the story and what's going on in it. So, yeah, Cabaret is my number 3.
I have not seen this one.
All right, what's your number 3?
All right, my number 3, mine, wait, there it is. Let me build it up. Okay, this was really one that I watched a lot as a kid. I grew up watching Wizard of Oz. My mom's favorite movie. We watch it probably a couple times a year. And this was probably one of the first ones that I realized as a kid, musicals aren't that bad.
I saw the stage production of it this year.
I've seen this year, really? Oh,
on the Icon.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievably good.
That's cool.
I was pretty impressed.
This is one that every time I hear like a new Wizard of Oz fact from the movie or whatever, it's good. And then the spin-offs like Wicked and all that are good as well. But this one is just so iconic.
It's very different. If your number 2 is Wicked, and then your number 1 is another
Oz.
The prison
prison one?
yeah.
I like this one fine. I think a lot of the music for me is a little tired. There's some songs I really like. I actually considered in my top 10 The Wiz.
Come
Yeah,
on.
The Wiz is definitely like, Again, if I'm counting movies and musical stage productions, then The Wiz is in my top 10 too.
Really?
The Wiz is great.
The setting, it's a pretty cheaply made production, right?
It is cheap. But it's
I've
from
never
like the 70s.
I've seen screenshots of it that make me sad.
The music's really good.
Oh, that movie's good.
Michael Jackson is
Really?
the Scarecrow.
Yeah, that movie's good. That movie's really good. It's just, again, yes, it kind of comes across like a low budget movie, but
All right,
it's the 70s, man.
All right, my number 3 is from a series of movies that are almost all musicals, but I'm going to pick the original one that came out in the 70s, and that is The Muppet Movie.
this is a good one. Yeah, I forgot about this one.
Now, I like...
This is
Okay.
Rainbow Connection?
Yes, this is Rainbow Connection, moving right along. This is pretty classic. Now, I almost picked the Muppets...
Take Manhattan?
No, not Take Manhattan. The Muppet Great Muppet Caper, because I really like that one. But I might like that one more because of the movie than the songs, and also the new one that they just, the first new one that they redid with Amy Adams and the other guy. Anyway, I like that one a lot too. But the original one is pretty classic. I really like the
I don't
Muppet
think
movie.
I've seen the original.
It's
The original
so
one
good.
was like at the time there's some mind-blowing things. They show Kermit riding a bike, and I'm still curious how they did that without special effects.
It holds up. I will say, watch it again. I'm like, this is
I
cool.
mean, I mean
He's
special
riding a
effects,
bike.
but I mean
Without
without
CGI.
without
right?
CGI, right?
That's the thing about these movies is any of the Muppet movies, you watch them and they look good, they hold up, because the thing is really there being filmed. You know what I mean? That's the
Yes.
thing with CGI is the early CGI looks really bad and does not hold up at all. You know what I mean? But something real, like a practical effect like this, is amazing how it does hold up.
It is.
Man, the Muppet movie.
All right, what's your number
okay.
2?
That's a good one.
My number 2 is based on a movie, but the musical came after the movie. The movie's not really a musical, but
Ooh, what movie had a musical?
the movie had music. They made a musical. They added songs, plus a few of the songs that were in the movie. This was off Broadway. This was not a hit, I think, but it's a movie I really like, and the show I thought was tremendous. It's The Wedding Singer.
Really?
So The Wedding Singer.
I love this musical.
Yeah, The Wedding Singer is a very, very good musical. It's fun, and it has a couple of the songs you would know from the movie.
Well,
But-
most of the movie was like heavily 80s music.
Yes.
And then he made up his own song at the end.
Sure. And there were a couple of songs in it that were, obviously that's about the wedding singer. He is singing real songs in it. In the stage production, then there's a whole obviously album of new songs for the musical.
In the stage production, he has his own song that becomes really popular, which
That's
is
right.
why people bring him to the weddings to sing
Right.
this one song.
And he's sick of it and what have you. Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. I really like it. It's fun. It's kind of what you would expect. It's not
I haven't seen it. I've only listened to the whole thing, but I
okay, yeah.
really like the music for it.
It's not cabaret. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not something, it's not Chicago. It's none of like the heavy ones.
Oh, this is a cheese fest,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
It's very
Rainbow
light
Dash is a
and
musical.
bubbly, but it's super fun.
Well,
you watch it?
Waterboy. Is that a musical? No, I would. I like The Wedding Singer. We're talking about the same movie, right?
Yeah.
Wedding Singer is a great movie.
Yes.
Yeah, the musical's great.
Did not know this existed. Yep. My number 2 is one that I actually saw. I think it was a movie. I saw the play. This is actually one of the only musicals I've seen a couple times. And I think the music on it's great, and it's out of my genre of things I'd gravitate to. But it is Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
I love Phantom of the Opera. I think seeing it on stage, especially the way they do, when you see this on stage, the way they do certain practical effects, depending on the theater, is always mind-blowing to me.
I've always wanted to go see it because I hear when that chandelier first comes
That's
down,
it.
that's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, the chandelier, and then also when you have when they're taking that journey down, in that whatever canoe or whatever they call it, and
Gondola.
gondola. There it is. I'm not artsy.
We've
But-
downgraded here. Get in the canoe, kid.
I love it. I would like to see like a Bayou version of Phantom of the Opera. That's pretty good.
Anyway, we're in the gondola, and they're going across stage. I mean, you see the bigger productions have candles come up out of the stage and the mist and all that. Just the scene they create is really good in this. And the music, I actually enjoy. I know it's very not my style, but I think it sticks with you.
What's the chandelier thing? I don't
With
think
the
I've ever
falls?
seen the
At the very
slide.
beginning, it opens up where they're doing an auction. And they're auctioning off, and then they bring out a chandelier. They're like doing all this dusty, and it's like all old and dusty. And then they bring out the chandelier, and suddenly it's like, it just drops and
It's
starts
great.
swinging, and it plays that, da! It plays that, the Phantom of the Opera tune.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
a
it's
great-
swinging, in some productions, it swings over the audience.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one and like the Miss Saigon is a big production too. It's
helicopter
good.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
those two I think I love when they're on.
Miss Saigon, I could not put on my list. I like the music, but it is just too sad.
Right,
I can't-
that's
it is
another reason
too
why.
sad
Yeah.
for me. Although, a solo saxophone is one of my favorite songs, like ever. Anyway, my number 2 is very, very modern and is easily my kids. Well, it used to be their number 1 until Hamilton came out.
Okay.
Hamilton went to number 1.
I thought you were going to say Hamilton. Okay.
No, I like Hamilton 5, but I really love The Greatest Showman. Greatest Showman is just fantastic. I like everything about this. This is one of the few musicals where I think I like every song. Like, I like them all a lot. And also, so does apparently The World, because they get sung everywhere
I'm
all the time.
assuming they're making this into a stage production.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't, or maybe they have. I just never have heard of
Yeah, I
it.
assume they are
They're
because
going
this
to.
is a movie first. It's a musical film. But there's got to be, like, I assume they're making this into a stage production. Throw 1 or 2 new songs in there. You're ready to go.
If you ever get a chance, you should watch the behind the scenes on this, where they practiced the songs and they sang them for the investors. So they brought in Hugh Jackman,
But he couldn't
and
sing.
He couldn't sing because he wasn't supposed to sing. His doctor said, "Don't sing," because and so the producer was like, "Are you kidding me? We're bringing in all these investors and you can't sing." But then during the one song, he cannot contain himself and he just starts singing. It's a really cool scene.
Oh God.
So anyway, Greatest Showman, my number 2.
Is it me? My number 1 is a movie. I'm sorry, it's a show that they finally did make a movie out of not that long ago. And thankfully, it's also a fantastic movie. And it's In the Heights. In the Heights is my favorite musical. And this is the Lin-Manuel Miranda show that no one cares about anymore because he did Hamilton.
Okay.
So Hamilton.
Did he do this after Hamilton?
No, this was before.
No, I mean the movie came out after Hamilton.
Yes.
This is a movie halfway recent.
The movie's not that old. Yeah, the
Like
movie's
2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, movie's great. I'm glad that they made a movie. I think the movie was very well made.
I just can never remember.
I saw the
any of
show before
songs
the
from it.
movie. Yeah, I saw the show before the movie, and I really, really like it. And yeah, it's my favorite. I love the music. I love the plot. It's very, it can be sad, but it's very sentimental and very well done. It's also uplifting. I like it a lot. I think it's a great musical. And it makes sense that, again, the stuff he's done, he would get to do something like Hamilton, but I like this one better. It's a little more personable, maybe.
I need to see this one. My number 1 is one that I mentioned how I like Phantom of the Opera. And I was in a musical phase for a while, but Cats just took me out of it. After I saw that it was so bad that I just
love
stopped watching
Cats,
it.
got it.
So I didn't. But this one brought me back. and
Oh,
this is,
I thought Cats was your number 1. I was about to...
no. This made me stop.
throw down here.
I stopped watching musicals for 10, 15 years. And this one...
Because of Cats?
Yeah, it was so bad. I didn't want. I missed Les Mis. I missed Sweeney Todd. All these one people say are great, but this one brought me back. And this is The Greatest Showman.
Oh, yeah.
The Greatest Showman. For me, it was one of those that it was like, this was. I mean, I watched this several times to the point to where we took it, and for our daughter, we cut it out to where it's just the songs. It's 20 minutes of just the music. And it's like, and she would watch it over and over and over again. And still, I watched it probably 4 months ago. And it's on the background, and I'm like, man, I understand the historical accuracy is not there. One guy didn't even exist.
Like, not even a little.
No, I mean, the one
I
guy...
don't think anything in that movie is true.
Zac Efron didn't even exist. His character didn't even live. You know, it's like, but the music is so good, and it's just so tight, and the story is just... I really, really like this movie, and this is one that makes me want to go back and watch the ones I missed, you know? So that's, I really enjoyed it. And Hugh Jackman apparently can do anything. You go from Wolverine to this,
I know.
and that's another reason I don't want to watch it. I'm like, I don't hear Wolverine sing. It's going to ruin it for me. I didn't watch
He was
Les
that
Mis.
before. He was in,
know.
what's the one? Oklahoma.
I didn't watch Les Mis because I want to see Gladiator sing. You know,
You won't.
You,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. He's great. He's fine. He's fine.
Wow, rude.
He's fine.
He's fine. I just don't like I didn't like the shooting of that movie. That they were insistent to show you that they were actually singing, so they kept shooting close-ups in everyone's faces. Like, I get it. I believe they're singing. Shut up and show me the movie. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool to actually make them sing is good. There's a little bit of that feeling in The Greatest Showman, actually, where you have that sort of, they go from a scene to a song and you can feel that transition.
Yeah.
Where they go from like talking on camera, and yeah, sometimes they voice over that, and then when they get into a song, you can tell that it's like press play and then they do it. So it's a little bit of that. So I get it.
But
that's some directors, that one guy especially who directed that movie, likes to do that. Get him singing on camera.
Yeah, but I mean, they also can sing.
And that bar scene is Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman.
That's a great sequence.
The choreography of that is just
You can sing
brilliant.
that and then do that choreography.
Right, yeah,
That's part of the problem.
But it's just the way everything's making
the
noises.
barkeeper's there. Yeah, I like that.
yeah, it's very good.
It's really good.
All right, we're going to go old school for my number one, though.
Here we go.
Probably the most famous musical.
Showboat.
Sound of Music.
No. It's actually Singing in the Rain.
Oh, okay.
What's it about?
Well, it's not about Singing in the Rain. It's about talkie movies, actually, coming in. And I really like this. It has some of my favorite sequences. And I think the Singing in the Rain song sequence that he did, which, supposedly he had a fever at the time or whatever, is still one of the best joyful sequences. When he passed away several years ago, the news just showed that song, like straight, which was pretty classy, I thought. Just good. But I also like the other guy, Donald O'Connor, and I like the Make 'Em Laugh song, and I like Good Morning. It's just a very cheerful, enjoyable movie. And sometimes I want to see that old-timey stuff. There's a lot of those. I mean, a lot. And I'm actually surprised at how many musicals are about making musicals. It's like a very high percentage, or making a play, or whatever.
The Producers is certainly about that. And
Chorus line. All these things are about.
Gypsy, I think, is. There's quite a few.
I haven't seen Hairspray. I'm just guessing.
Well, you'll see it. It's
Hairspray.
going to be on the cruise this year.
Is it?
Nice Sarah Cruise is Hairspray.
Okay.
Hairspray is in my top 10. I like Hairspray a lot.
So it is good. It's not a Cats. Okay.
No, Hairspray's good.
Hairspray, if you like 50s, 60s pop,
Okay,
I think a
I
little
do.
bit there. Anyhow, Singing in the Rain, my number one. Those are our favorite musicals. Let us know yours in the comments. Let's keep going.
Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and today I want to talk about what I consider to be the single greatest kids game of all time, and that is the Bluey Keepy Uppy game. Yes, I am serious. This game is based off of a preschool show about Bluey, a family of dogs, and that live in Australia. They have very cute accents. And it's based off of an episode where they're playing Keepy Uppy with a balloon. And so the game has a balloon that the dad is shooting into the air with a leaf blower, and you push a button, it goes around in a circle, and everybody gets to push a button on their side to pop the balloon back up in the air, Keepy Uppy, and you're trying to knock down the other player's tokens while keeping all of your tokens left. Or if you have any tokens left at the end, the last person left is the winner. And if this sounds familiar, it's because there've been a few other iterations of this game that have come around. There is Loopin' Chewie, in which Chewbacca is in the Millennium Falcon and going around in a circle. And the tokens are stormtroopers, and you're trying to knock down the other people's stormtroopers, and you have you have any of your tokens left at the end, which is a little bit of a confusing theme. Are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? It doesn't matter, because it is a Star Wars theme that every kid can understand and play. And then the original was Loopin' Louie, in which you had an old-timey airline pilot who was flying around in circles, and the tokens were chickens like out in the field, and you're trying to knock down the other player's chicken tokens and have yours left at the end. And that game won the Kinderspiel des Jahres in 1994. So I know there's some question about how good that award is, how much does it mean? But they hit the nail on the head for this one. Fantastic game. And it's still around today in the Bluey form. And this game, I've been bringing Lupin Chewy to my summer board game classes at the local rec center for a few years now. And so I've played Lupin Chewy with just tons and tons of kids. And it's amazing because it's one of the games that I bring because everybody walks in and there's not really any rules to explain. It's really fun to play. And 100% of the kids love this game, and I usually don't bring games that are out of print. Both Lupin Louie and Lupin Chewy are out of print, but the game is so good, I would bring it, and then that was the one that parents would run out and hunt down used copies on like eBay or Amazon afterwards because the kids loved it so much. And it's universally beloved, and it's interesting, there have been a few changes between the different versions, mostly in terms of player count, where Lupin Louie was 4-player, Lupin Chewy was 3-player, and now the Bluey version, it can be 3-player, but you can also take out one of the buttons and have it be where they're just across from each other, and it can be a 2-player game. And this is pretty great because one of the things I was concerned about with the Bluey theme versus something like Star Wars was, oh, did this make it into just a preschool game? But my youngest is 5, she's preschooler, she loves this game. And my 12-year-old son had me come downstairs to play this game with him soon after we got it, which was kind of a surprise to me. But he sat me down, turned it on, and it was in 2-player mode. And when the balloon came over to him, he smacked the button just right, and it flew over and knocked over one of my tokens without me having a chance to defend it all. And then he did that 2 more times, and so the game was over in approximately 30 seconds. He was cracking up. He was so proud of himself. I thought it was pretty amazing. I was proud of him too. And then I tried it, and it wasn't too hard. So it is nice. It seems like, oh, it's just a hit the balloon game. How much can be going on with it? There's an art to it, and you can make people cry if you play it right. So don't be worried if that means the game is good to you. But this game is amazing. We got this and left it out on the coffee table over spring break, and we live in a suburban neighborhood, and there were just tons of kids coming by, and this is a game that I could leave out. Anybody could figure out how to play it. My 5-year-old explained it to other kids. I didn't have to be involved, which is nice sometimes. So this game works for everybody. I know a lot of times you say, oh, if they're not into board games, don't give a board game as a gift. Well, you can give the Bluey Keepy Uppy game to anyone because 100% of kids really like it. So that's it for me today. You can check out more of my content on my website and my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and back to the folks in the studio.
All right, folks. So recently, I took a trip up to Pensacola. My daughter graduated.
Yep.
And when I was up in Pensacola, I went to a couple game stores that were there.
Okay.
And there's a game store there that was next to a place called the Four Winds, which used to sell food from all over the world.
Cool.
So I love that sort of thing. So I always stop in there. And I went in there very disappointed to find they no longer sell food from all over the world. They sell drinks from all over the world. I was not as interested in that.
Okay.
And they had a nice deli, and then in an area where you could sit and eat the food from the deli, and there was a shelf of board games there.
That's cool.
Okay, so it was a board game cafe. Technically.
Sort of, right? And that's what I was talking about. The board game cafe I want to talk about, because for a while, that was like the golden thing that people had. Like, oh, I wish a board game cafe.
Still is.
So you want to talk about like where they are right now,
Yeah.
kind of like what's the state of the union here when it comes to board game
So the
cafes?
most famous board game cafe in the world is
Snakes and
Lattes. And they started at least 3 in Toronto. We've been to 3 different ones there, me and
Yes.
Z. And then they franchised. I know they had one in Arizona and stuff. And I've been to various board game cafes. Remember we went to that one in Ohio that one time. I've been to one in LA. But they're not particularly common. When I lived in Korea, there was at one point like 400 board game cafes.
Wow.
They're less common now. They're still out there. They're still being done. The problem with a board game cafe is you're a restaurant first over anything else, or you're a cafe. You have to be a cafe first to go any farther, and the attrition rate for food places is the worst in businesses. Period. New businesses have what's the fail rate? It's pretty high.
Yeah,
and the fail rate for restaurants is even higher than that. I want to say it's like 90% or something. It's pretty high.
After the initial excitement gets over, yeah.
So the thing is, though, these don't take off as well because it's a hard thing to monetize. It's hard to monetize because gamers don't want to pay any money, and they want to come in and play all day long. I see people say, oh, this place has a $5 cover charge. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And I'm like, well, you're like sitting at this table, 4 people sitting at the table, and you want to play 8 hours. You paid $20 for that. How are they making any money at all? You could buy drinks, but you're probably not buying that many. While if it was a restaurant, they would have cleared that table 4 times, and they would have sold, $100, $150 worth of food each time there.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't talk about these too knowledgeably because there's none in Miami. There was one called Mac and Chess, which was more about the food than it was about the cafe. It was really tiny. It was. I'm not joking. It was the smallest room we're in right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it is, to run one, do you need to start with something very small, or is that a bad idea right off the bat? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, does it need to be something that is bombastic right away and hopefully primes that pump?
And if you get something bigger, it has to be in a cheaper area, which is a bit more off the beaten path, hard to find.
You don't really necessarily want to go hang out there, maybe. It must be a very tricky business to keep afloat, and I don't know what the secret sauce is of the ones that have done very well, like Snakes and Lattes, is like you said, very popular. I don't think they're going anywhere. They're doing fine as far as I know. So what's the secret sauce there? That's
the thing. I always wonder if, number one, we had a game store that would have a big game room, but they would have had a restaurant next door they partnered with, and I guess there was some sort of profit sharing, but they were able to bring over food. That worked for a while.
Where was this?
It was in Fort Myers, and then they just stopped doing it. The place went under because of COVID, it went under, but then I thought it was doing well because that was the perfect idea, having a restaurant here, and then you have a partnership with them, you can bring the food over.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
that's
symbiotic
really
relationship like that. That might be the answer too, maybe that's the way to do it.
I would love for that to exist somewhere if that can go,
Now it seems like most of the board game cafes I've gone to have artisanal foods.
Right.
As opposed to
like coffees and sandwiches and stuff like that.
But it's usually it's paninis.
Right.
It's not a burger, it's a panini. It's not, coffee, it's latte. It's,
Yeah.
And that's fine and good, I suppose. And I think part of that also is getting it all over they don't want that greasy burger and fries.
That's what I wonder. I've never been to Snakes and Lattes, but do they limit their menu depending on what is messiest? Like, they probably won't have wing night or whatever. It's just like...
Welcome to our cafe. Tonight's wing night, tomorrow chips and salsa.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, do they not have those things? Or
I don't
they
think they have those things. Yeah, no, I don't remember, but I don't think they have
Also,
anything.
the games at a cafe are normally not in the best of quality.
Sure.
They really are.
Okay.
What's the best cafe you've ever been to, you think?
Man, I don't know. I'm having a hard time not just defaulting to Snakes and Lattes, but...
Because we went to one in Philly.
The Philly one was pretty good. I thought
Columbus, remember? We went to that one with the Stalinade, or Leninade, I'm sorry.
Where was that one?
It was right down the street. I just remember they had all those sodas.
I remember the one in Philly. I thought it was pretty good. It was nice and spacious. It has to have that balance between feeling like I'm there to eat and feeling like I'm there to game. And you have to give me the feeling for both. You know what I mean? Whether that's your decorations are game decorations and food decorations, can make me feel like I want to do both things. I thought the one in Philly did that well. I don't know if they're still there or not, but the Mac and Chess, which was the local one here, was very small. It did feel very cramped in there very quickly. The food was wonderful. They had excellent food, very sort of food truck kind of food.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't mind that though.
It was really good. They got mac and cheese, but they imported brisket from Kentucky or something. It was really good.
And then little hot dogs that they would put, mac and cheese on, like that. It was very, very good.
That's the type of food I could eat at one of those.
However, this cafe existed not because it was a cafe. Students would come in, order the food, and leave.
So they let it carry out
The
stuff like
cafe
that.
was almost an afterthought, which I don't even think is a bad thing.
Sure.
Okay.
It was the food first, cafe second. We didn't go there that often just because it's like 45
It's
minutes
pretty
from
far
here.
from here. Yeah, it's pretty far from here.
No, a food truck though, man. If a game store brought a food truck in on Saturdays or something, I don't know. I like the food
The problem is that they have to be careful because gamers can be notoriously cheap. You know,
Bring
how
their
many
own
gamers
food,
go
yeah.
to your game store? They'll bring their own drink. They'll
Yes.
bring their own snacks. They eat there the whole time, and then they're like, "Why is the game store not making any money? Why are their games so expensive?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
and
That's ultimately, I think, the
And this game
the
store
issue.
that had like people were getting pizzas delivered, and the owner's like, guys, no. You know, so it's like, that's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
You know, just get it there.
So if you go, let's say you went to a board game cafe,
Yeah.
and you were going to play, let's say 5 hours, a game night, 2 games, whatever. What would be your expectance? What would you want to pay for that?
Am I getting food too?
Yeah,
Oh, I'd do $30, $40, right? Maybe
for
more.
just you.
I'm eating twice in 5 hours, just so everyone knows. To support the place. That is the only reason.
What would be the most you would pay as a cover charge?
See, that's a thing I thought about. I would pay $10 or $20, I think.
Really?
Maybe 10. I think 10 to go. You mean cover as opposed to...
How much would you pay that doesn't? You don't get anything out of it. You're just paying for the space.
There's no games either?
No, there's games there that you can check out and play.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that would matter too.
I think I would do 10. Here's the thing. I've gone to cons before, like local cons, where I will pay $40 to pretty much have the privilege of going to shop at their booths in the con.
Yes.
You know?
correct.
Well, that's why a lot of cons. It's not just
It's a
game
very
cons.
common thing. It's a very common thing.
It's just there's no celebrities at local cons normally, unless you have some obscure things. So it's $40 to go shop. So I mean,
a lot of things do that. This idea of like, oh, we'll let you in the door for an amount of money, and
Right.
then you can do the thing that you pay for anyway. That's not unheard of. It happens quite a bit, right? Flea markets, even some upscale
Yeah.
flea markets will do it. So
I'd pay $10 or $20 because I think you can game at home, but gaming in a bigger area with different people, I get to discover new games. I get to meet new people. All that I would do that.
Maybe, but the vast majority
Would not.
don't go there to meet people. And in fact,
Yes.
That is true.
We've gone to one. Me and Z just recently. We went to one that's near IV Studios. That's
you
in
know what? That was a
Nashville.
really good one.
Yes, but we were the only people in there playing games. Everyone else was there
Sitting
for
and
straight
having-
coffee
Yeah,
or working.
having drinks.
Really?
Yeah.
They had a nice game selection, and it was a board game cafe. And I think that's your best bet. You got to push the cafe part, and the gaming is secondary.
I agree.
Poetry night one night, and then
I agree. Absolutely. It's 100%
Yeah, have a pub
the
quiz
only.
night. Yeah, why not?
That is the only way that it's sustainable. And I think the part of the reason why that is sustainable is, unfortunately, I don't want to, again,
Gamers are
paint with
cheap.
too wide of a brush here, but if you target people that are used to paying $8 for a cup of coffee, you might make some money. If you target people who don't want to pay $5 to take up your table and play your games all day, you might not make money. I think that's what it is. You need to do that, and this place was definitely, it sort of felt like you were going there and getting frou-frou drinks.
Yeah, for
You know what I mean? It was
Okay.
very good. It was really good, and I love the place, but that's the vibe. That was the feeling. You are at a gourmet cafe type place.
And if you do it, you don't even need a cover charge. People are going to buy those
People
expensive
get
drinks.
a drink. They
But
had a
was
nice
it
menu.
so much to that level that you'd feel uncomfortable if you went there to play a game. Like if you guys sat there and started playing a 2-hour game, would you
Well, we
feel
did
like
do that, and it was fine because we ordered drinks, and I thought the drinks. We didn't pay for them, but they were not particularly inexpensive drinks.
okay?
Now, if we're going to stay there all day, I would feel bad if I wasn't consistently buying drinks
Right.
and or some of their food. They had muffins and cookies and that sort of thing too.
Yeah. But I think you're right, Tom. That has to be the way you do it, is you target that stuff first. You become a wonderful cafe that offers interesting drinks, interesting finger food, what have you. You don't need to be, I think I think leaning too deep into restaurant might be a trap. Going too far down the restaurant route.
It's tricky because at that point,
the games are impeding people eating food.
yes.
Right.
And you don't want these two things to compete. You want people to be able to play a game or just sit there, honestly, and then reach over and have a little something. You don't want like a plate of food in front of somebody, and then these two things are competing. And you also want to lean into that. What we offer here is gourmet and high-end. And there's gaming. Yes, there's a couple of shelves of games. You know? I mean, Starbucks used to have offer a few little games, not to play, but they would sell a couple of games back in the day, and I think that's kind of where you want to be.
It's funny how the cross-section of people that could do that right is probably pretty small.
Yeah, it's just it's tricky, and it has to catch on. You need to have your audience there who's willing to pay $8, $9 for a cup of coffee, and what have you.
Right.
Yeah, and again, you got to treat it like a business. I mean, how many board game stores exist where the person started it because they wanted a place to hang out and play Magic with their friends, or whatever, and then those places go under, or they last a long time, but it's because they're hobbling along. Restaurants, that's not going to happen.
No.
You actually have to work,
and you have staff.
You better have some pie. You better have some coffee. You need to have people who know. You need to have baristas, and I mean, Meepleville, which is in Vegas. I mean, you have to know how to run all those drinks behind the counter and do that stuff.
And some game stores can run by one or two people. The owner, maybe one other person, can run these smaller game stores. Restaurants, you can't do that.
Right.
Yeah,
and especially if you're going to go even farther, like Steaks and Lattes has people who go, they're hostess, they go out, they're going to serve you, but they can also teach you a game. But they need to be able to teach you the game really fast, and they need to be realizing they're going to be teaching Pictionary or whatever, because that's the kind of game that 90% of the games played at game cafes are party games. They just are.
Sense.
Yeah.
Because they're quicker and they're okay. That makes sense.
Alrighty, anyway, let us know what you think. Tell us about your great game cafe. So if we ever visit your city, we can come to one. We've been to a lot. I was thinking about it, I was like, I've seen several in different cities. I like checking them out.
They're always fun to discover, though.
And if you want to bring one to southern Miami,
Fort Myers,
let us know. If you go to Fort Myers, you got Joey. But he did promise to eat 2 meals a day.
Every day.
A day. In 5 hours.
7 days a week.
He'll keep you in business for the foreseeable future.
Alrighty. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Joey Evans.
Come back later today for Top 100. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.